Here's, I want to start off with Bitcoin because when I left you on Tuesday, we were on this candle here at about 124. Okay. And I talked about the three drive to a top, said you could sell it with stops over the high, that we could see 120. So we didn't see 120. We saw 126, but that was still a good trade for 3, 4 grand if you took it. So what about now? Um, you know, Everyone is looking for higher highs right here in Bitcoin. I think there could be a surprise, especially if we get a little bit of risk off. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but I think it's worth trying it again up here. And again, stops at the high. And what was this break? It was, call it 125. Let's call it 500. So if we have a C wave that's 1.618, that would be 8,000. That would take it down to 116. That's going to be a real important level, but that could set up a good trade. So, you short rallies, 24 up here. Maybe that was it today. You scale a little, you put a piece on, you sell another rally, and then have your stops over the high of the move. So that's my view on Bitcoin. And everyone seems to be much more bullish um, Ethereum, and it doesn't look too good to me right now. I was looking for a big alt season. Perhaps we're going to have a decline first. That's going to set up a big buying opportunity. I know some people looking for cycle highs in Bitcoin in November, but I also talked to my trading brother, Gregor Horvat, who says highs are due in October in Bitcoin, pretty regular cycle. So anyway, let's go with the girl we brought to the dance. That was a nice trade, and try and get it off again. Maybe the next time up, Ethereum might be the leader. All right, let's get to legacy markets now and talk about the dollar. Talked about that we were going to have a breakout. Look how it checked the breakout yesterday, too. So here's the daily. We have the breakout out of this channel. I think it's a very important action that we're getting here in the dollar, and that we should start to see some acceleration. I look at euro, and it looks like we're getting ready. Wile E. Coyote has jumped off the ledge here at 1650. If you're short euro, you probably don't want to see it back above 1650. This is kind of a neckline I talked about earlier in the week that is going to measure down towards about 1450. So eventually, I think 112 could be uh, also achieved when the Dixie gets up towards that 102, 103 level. So there's still plenty of downside. Here's cable. Cable, if you look at it, don't remember when we were down here, I said maybe we'll get a right shoulder. We did. And it wasn't exactly symmetrical with the left because it got up to 550, but it's close enough for government work. The point being a breakdown under this triple bottom, which I think is imminent, is a pretty big formation that's going to take us to a 130 handle or lower. In fact, I think I came up with a speed line that we could use for targets. Comes in here 127 or so. So it's still a big trade. I'm sure there's going to be some buying at the 200-day moving average above 130, but I do look for this low to be taken out. The mystery is Aussie, keeps holding, holding, holding. It's got to take out this low, and then maybe we're on our way. If we do break down, I think we should. 62 has been a long-standing target for long in Aussie. Let's get to the metals. Okay, here's the gold silver ratio. We got our new low. Let's see, what was the low? In fact, I think this was a bad tick. Yeah, this was. Okay, so we got our new low here in the gold silver ratio, and we're diverging. this could be a decent shot here, um, under 79. That's a nice little divergence. Um, Perhaps silver's going to be, oh, look at that tail in silver. And you have one in gold too. So this is a reason, I know some guys that were looking for 53, but you know what? They popped the champagne corks out here when we got over 50. What's the high? 51.23. So are you a dollar off the high? See, working for a living sometimes distracts you from trade. So this, I think, is at least a short-term top. Look at this. With all of this happening here, we did not blow out the divergence. I'd really be surprised. Okay, we did here on the 1 hour. So we're getting a pretty big break here. I can't chase it now. So one day I wasn't paying attention. I'm doing interviews and everything else, and I figured I'd have uh, till next week. We'll see. I'm not going to react to it. But anyway, uh, I think this the thing that I've done right, and you're not late, especially if you own the miners. If this is turning, you got to buy dust down here. Okay, look at the divergences in dust. We could get a rally to 16, would only be a correction, 60%. That would hedge your miner portfolio if you want to hold it. And you know what? The miners yesterday, with all the action, huge records and headlines and everything, when you look at what the miners did, they really weren't that impressive. Here's Newmont. Okay, look at divergence here in Newmont. The dailies confirming it confirmed, but massive divergence. And with what gold did with that huge parabolic move, I've showed you these parabolic moves in gold and silver. The miners are pretty good tells. I mean, the last 2, 3 months, even when gold was down, they couldn't take the miners down. I like the dust for a spec and for a hedge. Here's GDX, same thing. Okay. I wouldn't be long these stocks. I wouldn't be long this. Here's the silver stocks, which are the outperformers, but I think they're a little long in the tooth. They're stronger than the gold. They're making new highs. Maybe key reversals coming in that. So buy dust and you don't have to think. And then get a Swifter so you you could clean up all the dust in your house. Those Swifters where they come with wet bottoms and they come with dry bottoms. Let's take a quick look at yields and see what they're doing. Yeah, I thought by now we'd be closer to a 420 challenge, but you know what? So it pulled back. It still hasn't done anything wrong. It's taking its time, but I still think that we're going to break out through 420, and that makes it kind of tough to short the end. I've tried it a couple times. Had a little money made earlier, and again, um, I was working. So wow, look, euro's accelerating, dollars flying, king dollar. Let me just remind you when I made the call on the dollar bottoming. It was this day. I labeled it a stop hunt by just taking out these lows by about 20 points and reversing, and went with the daily candle, did a little trading, but now Marriott. We should enter the acceleration phase, and there are lower levels coming in the dollar. So with that and Bitcoin, now let's take a look quickly at risk. You think that we'd get some type of sell-off in the S&Ps. I know, well, you have to watch the interview I did with Peter Goodburn yesterday and take a look at his S&P analysis. I'm going with him. I even took one of Peter's trades. I was talking to him the other day, and It's a triple bearish semiconductor ETF. See that? 3-time bear. Be careful. They have erosion. But we just made new lows here. What's the low? 403. We could go to 350, but I think we're getting the bottom in this. And then I'll also be looking for, even though we're getting a pullback here, I still want to see new highs in the Mag 7 before I get short. So maybe what we're going to do is get a little break in the S&Ps for a few days and then make one more rally attempt. That would be pretty classic. Or maybe it's going to happen now. My toes in the water. I hope that you guys are learning and not just copying trades because, whoever you copy, they may not be available when you need to talk to them, or you're dependent upon them and then you don't know what to do yourself. So integrate these ideas like I do with my intelligence gathering with your own work. My work's RSI based. It's pattern recognition. I have a couple of techniques with weekly reversals and off numbers, but just find a couple simple yet powerful things to concentrate on. And don't concentrate on too many markets. Maybe trade 3. You could watch more, like euro pound gold silver ratio, but I would not try and trade a portfolio of leverage and investments. So let me look at the silver. Okay, they're getting on the S&Ps too. And silver's trying to fight its way back. That's one heck of a reversal compared to gold. Gold's down 14 now. Okay. So we're getting a correction in gold. I don't know if this is it. We didn't make a new high. It's like a double top. So we'll see. I don't have any shorts on in the physical right now. My only bearish position in the physical is dust, but I'm very long the dollar and short different foreign currencies. And also, here we go, 415 now. Must have had some news that drove up yields. So that's it. Ride the dollar. Try and hold till objectives, at least a piece. Nothing wrong with partials along the way, but keep a core and see if you could ride it to 102. That's my trading challenge to you today. And with that being said, I'll see you in the room. And don't just count your pips, count your blessings.